Hello, everyone. I welcome all of you again to another podcast, spiritual session with my friend Anil. And today also we have important topics. We are going to talk about free will, and we are going to discuss how it manifests in this world, as well as we will answer our thought forms based on the various sessions that I have already done. And we are going to lay it out in a simple manner for all of you to understand. So, without much further ado, before the podcast begins, I would be grateful if all of you could just like this video, which will help it to reach out to other people who may need this information to evolve spiritually. And now I welcome Anil. Hello, Anil. How are you today?
Hi, Sam. Thank you very much. I'm well. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to be of service in a small way. Before I go into, I would like to point out the purpose of this podcast is to raise the understanding and the vibration of current human collective. So please re-listen, contemplate, pray, discern, and only accept those thought forms that resonate with your inner heart, leaving behind those that do not resonate with it. I would also encourage each entity to approach this topic with an open mind and heart, seeking to understand the deeper spiritual truths. So here, last time, as we know, we talked about Orion group, and we also talk about RH negative bloodline, which is a related topic. And one of our listeners was not happy or was slightly emotionally charged because he's a positive person and a positive entity, and he has a negative RH negative blood. So he is thinking that we are saying that because he has RH negative blood from Anunnaki bloodline, he can only be negative. I think I would like to clarify this misunderstanding that in any group or community or bloodline or DNA, they are both positive and negative entities who chooses. It is dependent on a free will of the person. So RH negative bloodline has a free will to choose a positive path or negative path. And this person has chosen the positive path. In fact, Orion group, there is a group of Orion which are positive entities, and there is a high concept of Orion which is positive entities, and this is basically also channeled by a woman called Holly Hawkins in US or Soul Genesis. You can also go and listen to that as well. As we already know, there are a faction of few Anunnakis who are positive as well, especially Enki was positive, if you know the story of Enki. So I would like each viewer to really re-listen, contemplate, play, and discern, and don't get really upset if we are saying and get emotionally charged. Think what we are saying rather than misunderstanding what we are saying. And we can always answer you in the. We are here. This is our purpose, to educate and to clarify any doubts you have. So now we're gonna go the related topic of free will versus destiny. And I keep hearing all the time, and in fact, I was quite wondering for a long time, either whether we are free will or are we are destined, because many people say it's a destiny and we can't do anything. Everything is pre-programmed and it will happen as it will happen, which is kind of not true really, because of our misunderstanding of the world, because we are in completely free will person through and through. And I will explain today how. As you know that we have a choice to make any action we take, we have a choice. even not to choose is our choice. When we say I didn't have a choice, it's basically you're deciding not to choose. And something that happens to us, basically, which you don't have any action in that, and you didn't have to choose. For example, you're going by on the road and somebody car hits you, for example, and you say, I didn't choose anything, the car hits me. But this action, this reaction which has happened to you is actually a reaction to your past free will action, which is what you call karma. So karma, when you do karma, your action always have a reaction, as we know that. And karma is that for every action we do, we have a reaction. We don't know when the reaction will happen. A reaction can happen in the same life. The reaction can happen in the next life or next incarnation. We never know. And these are basically becomes destined in that sense. People call it destined. So that is also the reaction. And as you know, we have talked about reincarnation, and we say at the end of the experience, if your fourth chakra is open, green chakra is open, at the end of experience, you have a review of your life cycle. And you can decide you can decide your reincarnation. And before deciding to reincarnation with your higher selves, you can decide which lessons you need to learn. And you also make certain pre-incarnative choices in that life, so that you pass your lesson or you learn your lesson. And this is, for example, some people have chosen in the past a disability to themselves, so that it makes them easier or focus on their lessons. I mean, this is very easy. So some people who are basically choose some physical disability is their pre-incarnative choices. It may not be even a karma of any action, because people say somebody is born with some disability, they think it's a karma. I think it's not correct to say it could be karma, but generally pre-incarnative choices by the entity himself, so that he can focus. Because let's say he chooses a disability that he cannot move, because he is trying to avoid the temptation of the third density theater, so that he can focus on the lessons he has given. And this is even when I was in the college, one of my friends, during the exam, he used to shave his hair completely bald, so that he can just not go out, because he thinks he looks ugly and people will laugh at him, so that he stays inside the house and study all the time. So this is very normal. So this is, again, it's a pre-incarnative choices. And then there is catalyst, which Sam has talked about in the previous session. There is a random catalyst, which happens on your topics. Because in case you have designed a lesson to be learned, a random catalyst will happen depending on the one infinite creator. We don't understand how these random are generated. That's why they are called random. And if you don't learn the lesson, the catalyst keep coming back because you haven't learned the lesson. So for example, if you is careless and lose everything, and you don't learn a lesson to be more write something where you forget something is written and you keep forgetting, and this catalyst keep coming back unless you have learned the lesson. So you make a mistake, for example, and then you don't learn the lesson, that you keep making the mistake. That means you haven't learned the lesson. So as you can see now, if you see with this knowledge, you can see everything is free will. Destiny, what you call destiny, is basically a reaction to your free will action in the past, or your pre-incarnative choices before birth to learn the lessons which remain, which you haven't learned in the previous lifetimes or previous incarnations. So through and through, you're a free will person. And so now with this knowledge, you can apply and see things clearly. Of course, because of the whales, we have very difficulty to see which is our reactions and which is are the pre-incarnative choices. This can only be discerned by the person, by himself. No other person will be able to tell that. And the person himself, when he discerns inside, will be able to figure out that this might be the pre-incarnative choice or a reaction to something he has done in the past, maybe in the previous life. So, Sam, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, you added a good point about that we have free will. And also, like Anil said, like basically, I think we all have various types of timelines, which we can enter into. And I think, like Anil said, karma, the act of something, coming back as a lesson, is paramount. Like many people, they forget, what they have done. Even sometimes they forget what they did a few months ago, but it may be coming back, in form of situations. But then the person, may say, like, how do I have free will, right? But the free will, like I think exists in each moment, right? So even if someone may have done something which may not be service to others, the person may have hurt someone, within that moment, when they realize it, they can actually create positive karma to cancel that. So they have free will, ultimately that's what we want to share here. And that, in every moment, right now, someone may be listening and, they may choose to make amends with someone they might have wronged, or they may seek forgiveness from someone with whom they wanted to do that for a long time, but they might not have taken the action, right? So the action can be taken only in the present moment. That's why, many teachers, they say that, free will exists only in this moment, right? So we can, based on our choice, just use the free will and to, make sure that we can even release the karma and create positive ones, so that your upcoming timeline, the timeline you may enter into will be based on that. And yeah, like Anil said, that there are many, like this life is, it's pretty complicated, like it's not simply like only karma or, like only, certain actions are working, but there are many things, like there may be soul contracts, like we may choose to have soul contracts to learn certain lessons, like learning emotional balancing, learning to overcome fear. There may be many of these lessons programmed, and for that, certain situations will have to come up which may seem as negative or challenging, but indeed it is for the soul to learn. So, the thing is, it's, yeah, like Anil said, it's pretty impossible, unless you're like the enlightened master, enlightened one, who can see beyond this veil of the mind and access all of your timelines. It's, for a human, I think it's pretty very difficult to do that. But I think, there may be some people who can. But anyways, I just wanted to add that. And Anil, do you have anything?
Yes, Sam, I would clarify, as Sam said. So, as you know, Sam bring up very important point that you have a soul contracts and things. Again, all these soul contracts were signed by your own free will. Nobody forces you to do that. It is your free will to agree to do that. So all you need to know, you are a free will person, and everything which is happening to you right now is a reaction, or you have reaction to something you did in terms of karma, or something you have decided before which you don't remember, or before life. You have chosen that. So you are free will. And even in this life, some people say, I didn't have a choice. You choosing not to choose. This is your also free will. Choose not to choose. You know. So we are free will. Now, as we are on this topic of karma, I would just like to clarify one thing which is quite important and related, is how to dissolve a negative karma, which Sam said. As I said to you, the first thing is forgiveness. And Sam did a session last time, which is really, really good, which I will put in a reference. But just to summarize here, that you can resolve all your karma, negative karma, by forgiving yourself and the other self. The person you have done wrong, you have done wrong to, or sometimes somebody has wrong to you. If you forgive yourself because you have harmed somebody or done wrong to somebody in your ignorance, so once you become aware of your mistakes or your things, maybe at the time you were not didn't realize that you were making a mistake, and as you grow up and evolve, you realize that you have done a mistake. Even at that time, you can ask for forgiveness, and you ask the forgiveness from that person, and forgive yourself, because you didn't, it was your ignorance, and hopefully you able to mitigate or completely lose the karmic bond. As in some cases, the restitution is important, and it has to be prepaid in case the person hasn't completely forgiven you or you haven't, and you, even after asking the forgiveness, you keep making the same mistake. For example, you have asked a person, like said that you will not do something, and you ask the forgiveness or ask forgiveness from that person, and after a month you did the same thing again to that person. That means you just asked the forgiveness for lip service. You didn't really meant that. In that case, it comes back, it's not dissolved. So you have to really think, when you say that you ask for forgiveness, you don't have to do the same action for so that it does not keep going on. And dissolving karma is also very important for moving into the next incarnation. So saying that, I think people should really think, ponder in their life, review their life even now, take some time and see if you have, some people you have done wrong to them, please ask forgiveness from them. And if somebody has done wrong to you as well, please forgive them, because if you don't, this cycle will keep going. They will also drag you, because this energy of karmic bond remains. You need to let all the bonds go and be completely free. So ask forgiveness if you have done wrong, and forgive yourself for doing wrong in your ignorance when you did that. And also, please forgive people who have done wrong to you. Don't keep grudges and hold this in your heart. This is negative energy which you will keep holding, and this cycle will never end. And forgive that person, and maybe, hopefully, that person also realizes that at least you let it go. And that's what letting go means. And Sam, I think from my side, this is all. You want to add something to karma?
Yeah, I know. That's, I think, pretty perfect. And yeah, I think also I had one thought in my mind, that I wanted to add. Wait a moment. Yeah. So, in the last session, yeah, so I was also listening to it. So I think, what they said was, even sometimes, even if you have forgiven, even if you seek forgiveness, sometimes I believe the soul, like when they cross over, and the soul, during life review may see that it has wronged the person really, in some bad way, then they will still reincarnate. I think that's what I heard in the session. But as far as I know, we all hear different things in the session, because they share it in such a manner that everyone understands differently. But I think that's what I also understood.
Yes.
And yeah,
I think what they meant, if that was, I was asking you for this because because most of the time forgiveness basically dissolve the karmic bonds, but in some particular cases, the restitution is necessary, and these are rare situations, and it depends on many factors when the restitution is necessary. And in that case, that for the if the restitution is necessary, then you have to reincarnate and repay that restitution. So I think that's what they meant yesterday, that when they said that the karmic energy does not dissolve, and this is again related, that you ask the forgiveness and then still keep doing the same thing, which is just a lip service. So I think if every listeners, please ponder and think about your own life and ask, and please, you won't be, don't let your ego come into it. As I told you, ego is a process which is a blockage in yellow chakra. Balance your yellow chakra, and don't let this blockage not ask forgiveness, because many people have this problem. Even they know they have done wrong, they can't ask forgiveness because they think it belittles them, or they become smaller. In fact, you become greater once you ask forgiveness and forgive. Your status, you are a evolved being, and you have been balancing the chakra. I think with that, I would like to, end the podcast, unless Sam has some last words to say.
Oh, we can end it right now, like Anil said.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.